What is going on, guys? This is Coasting the Mediaverse podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Michael.
And you could see us. I've said that at least 4 times now throughout different YouTube videos and whatnot. But yeah, we're in a new little studio setup.
Every single time you're going to see this studio is going to change.
Oh,
so never
yeah.
be comfortable with anything. We're always moving things. We might even go back one day to an audio for a day.
We don't know.
We're
trying something new.
experimenting. You guys let us know what you like and what you don't like. We're growing together. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, but anyways, what are we doing here today?
On growing, the third one, fourth one, Spider-Man. What Spider-Man is
What was that first word you said?
Growing?
On growing?
On growing.
Okay.
Like we're growing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that not make sense to you?
Who knows?
Okay.
But anyways,
Why are we so chaotic the moment a camera turns on us?
That's the thing. It really is like that like experiment where
yeah, the visual of you seeing me right now, chat. I'm someone else.
Calling someone chat when they're like quite literally not in chat.
Do you guys
Anyways,
like chat?
we
Okay, start this episode.
we are talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Came out less than 2 weeks ago. And we're gonna talk about it. Let's get into the Letterboxd review.
Yeah, so I mean, again, just
description.
while Brian pulls that up, we're gonna be talking about Spider-Man. If you guys have not seen it already, we are going to be talking about spoilers. Always gonna give the warning in the beginning. If you don't mind them, join with us. If you do mind them, put this episode on afterwards. But with that in due, tell us about Spider-Man, Brian.
Yo, so Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. Most of these Letterboxd descriptions are like 1 or 2 lines.
Yeah.
This is like a paragraph.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get into this. So the tagline is "A brand new day starts now." What do you think about that?
I like that because after we had that like ending climax of him, he's alone, right? Like that makes sense. A brand new day for him experimenting in his life. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that.
So without further ado, this is the review. This is the description that's on Letterboxd, which I'm assuming is like where it is everywhere else. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Fighting crime full-time as Spider-Man in a world that doesn't remember him, and the pressure of seeing his old friends move on without him. A lot of M dashes, which is giving AI. So the pressures of seeing his old friends move on without him sparks a change in Peter Parker he may not have the power to control. But that transformation might also be the only thing that can stop a shocking new threat to the city and those he loves. A powerful villain no one can even see. Good description.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Would you say that... So, by the way, we're jumping straight into spoilers. Like, we're not doing like a non-spoiler section and spoiler section. We're just getting right into it. So, if you haven't seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, please watch it now before we start talking about it.
Go swing to your nearest movie theater.
I like how you did that.
Thanks.
Are you going to do that for like our other ones too?
Everything. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In the Minion, go, boy, to your closest movie theater.
I was thinking like the Odyssey. It's like go sail to your
I was also thinking
thing.
Odyssey, but we're going to do an Odyssey episode, so why give them that spoiler now?
Anyways, yeah, I think that's a pretty good description. Do you think his transformation, like where his DNA is becoming more arachnid, that's a decent portion of the film and like the plot? Do you think that helps him with finding, spoiler alert, Jean Grey?
No, I don't think that's connected at all. And I do think that's one of the things I had a problem with Spider-Man. Because that was confusing. Because like it felt like they were trying to do the Man Spider, but they didn't really fully do it. So then it kind of felt confusing for fans who are watching this, who are newer to the MCU, newer to Spider-Man, newer to X-Men and mutants. Spoiler. What is that referencing? Are they saying Spider-Man is a mutant now? Because in the comics, Spider-Man is a mutate, and mutants are separate than mutates.
Yeah.
But they don't give a distinction on the separation of that. And also, Jean Grey cannot get into his head. I get spoilers. That's Jean Grey. She can't get into his mind. Is it because he's a mutant? Or what is he built different? Like, why can't he get in? Why can't she get into his mind?
I do think
So that like confused me. Because I knew what was happening, but even then it didn't make sense.
I do think it was just trying to say that Spider-Man is built differently. Like he's just that guy. He's just him.
But then that becomes plot armor.
It certainly is plot armor, but then again with Spider-Man, like Dude, at the end, he was literally dodging like the ninja star that goes past his face. He was like watching it in slow motion. Like, that is just Spider-Man. Spider-Man is OP.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is plot armor of the character.
And
outside of like Invincible.
And that is so. Speaking with that, they gave him his spider senses finally because he did not have them throughout.
He did.
No, he did not.
He
He had a
him-
tingle, something like that, but he never had Spider-Man senses.
He had that hole in the last movie where in the other room, Green Goblin turns from Norman to Green Goblin, and he picks up on it from the other room, and it shows the cam of.
But it
him
wasn't a
walking out.
spider sense. Like, this was to give him spider senses. This was to give him super strength. Like, this mutation was to give Spider-Man the level of Spider-Man he normally has, that Tobey had. They even had a reference about it with when they were talking about the organic webs, and which he can also do now, and
Yeah.
the spider senses. Tobey Maguire had more abilities than they did, which is what they did now, is they gave him back all those powers.
He went through another upgrade. Like, yeah, so he already had super strength, super speed, super senses, and like fast
I
reaction
don't
time.
agree. I do not agree with you. And we can look
In the
back
second
later.
movie,
But
the
I don't think
the
he had spider senses.
But in the drone scene where he's fighting Mysterio, he listens to what he calls his Peter Tingle, and he closes his eyes. And while closing his eyes, he kills all the drones. He literally, like, that is part of the movie. And then in the other one, they even do that again, where he's in the astral thing, and then Doctor Strange is trying to take the box from him, and he's instinctively moving it because they didn't do an amazing job with it. I'll give you that. But
Sure.
he did already have.
He had a
Spidey
version
sense.
of it, but it wasn't what it is now, I guess.
Yeah,
I'll
that I agree.
I'll
That I'm
commit in
agreeing
the middle
to.
for. Okay, but yeah, so that kind of power up was pretty confusing to me, just
Yeah.
because I didn't know what they were really doing with it.
Yeah. I also will say that like it's a problem for most of the movie where like if he doesn't have the inhibitor, he's like too overloaded with senses. And then in the last fight, which is awesome by the way, like the last fight when he's fighting the hand,
Yeah.
they say like, or Jean is like, you have to pick, are you Spider-Man or Peter Parker? And he does that moment where he's like, I'm both. I think that's great, but like, how did he gain control of those things? Like for me, it was a little too easy of a fix, where it's like, what, he just had to accept that he's both. Like it worked for me in the theater. Outside of it, I'm like,
You're sitting on it, you're thinking about it different.
throughout the movie, he is like having problems with the lights and the sounds, and he's like going crazy because of that. And then in the last act, she says, "Are you Spider-Man? Are you Peter Parker?" And he just says, "I'm both," and then it works for him. And I'm like, that shouldn't be the case. Like there should have been something that he did that made it work. I don't know why that made it all of a sudden work.
A lot of the point of the movie they were talking was on this emotional reaction to what was going around him, and a lot of it is accepting who you are and accepting the trauma that you undergo in your life and moving forward with it rather than suppressing it and holding it in.
Sure.
Right? Because a lot of Peter, in my opinion, a lot of his struggles was accepting the loss and the tragedies that he had and realizing that life would no longer be his. In those 4-year gap that we didn't really see, he never experienced a mindset to get him out of it.
Sure.
So he was still yearning and lingering and holding on to this fact that he wishes he could still have that life. And he, as many others, jumped into work, which is being Spider-Man, to suppress these feelings, which at a certain point it exploded, which is the part of this mutation that he underwent. It's just, I think, a weird way to get him to the power level that he should have always been, but they had to do it somehow, so I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But it's like, also, what were the eyes? Like, why did he have, like, the black eyes, kind of like his body taken over like a demon?
Yeah.
Like, is there actually something that they're going to do with that, or was that just a visual for us to see he was becoming a monster, quote unquote?
I do think it was that. I don't think we'll ever see those eyes again.
Sure.
Yeah. You were talking a little bit about like how he was yearning for the past, and like, how did you feel initially with them bringing back Ned and MJ this quick?
I didn't mind it. Like I said, I thought that would be a big focal point for him because that was his best friend and the love of his life.
Sure.
Like obviously he's still gonna be thinking about them. I was surprised to see him on Instagram stalking them and because at one point he was on a live feed, and unless Ned has like a big following, I mean CEO of Sex, shout out, but like, why would he not realize that they would see him pop up or something?
They would probably see,
they'd be like,
if
"Who's
he has
this
like
guy?"
three
Yeah, yeah.
followers that are watching him, like one of them being Peter, he would, in any normal sense, he'd be like, hey, my friend, and then this random thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess,
But maybe
like,
he's using a burner account.
I was gonna say, it
and,
probably
it's
is just
probably,
something, and he's probably just like, hey, I'll take it.
I'll take the follower. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're saying if we did a live stream and then like some random thing popped up, we wouldn't be like,
Sure,
yo, who that?
Then I'll be like, yo, thank you, Subway Eater number 72. Like, love that.
Subway Eater number 72.
I saw a Subway sandwich in the room. Not creative. But anyway, so I think we're digressing out of that. Like,
Yes.
something that I want to go backwards and talk about that we'd already mentioned. If you have seen the movie, which you have at this point, Jean Grey is the main antagonist who has then delved into the story a lot, into figuring out why she starts off as an antagonist to become eventually the hero that she's starting to realize at the end on that pathway.
Yeah.
Did that get spoiled for you at all? You as the chat, you as Brian, or did it get spoiled when you were listening to this podcast because we did not give you an introduction at all?
No, I was not fooled one bit. I knew that she was. I was very certain, 99.9% sure that she was Jean Grey a month ago going into this movie.
Yeah.
Like, they built it up so much where they were like, oh, who is she playing? They even posted ads where she was like, who am I playing? Come find out. And it's like, it's fun when the community is all guessing, but that's what happened. The community started guessing way early on, like a year ago.
Well, a year ago when they saw
so
the
then
photo,
the marketing started going like, oh, let's play into that. No, I think if anything, just keep it a mystery and don't let us do the fun stuff.
Detective discovery.
That being said, I saw that one interview with the musician who they were fully removed his music from the movie. I think I heard.
Did they?
I heard that someone's like,
I don't think
because he was on the red carpet.
He was, yeah, I saw that.
And then they said,
"What's your favorite moment in Spider-Man?"
Brother, you like how do you not? How are we this far into like the MCU being a thing and people are still like, I loved this character?
I'm gonna be honest.
Like,
some people don't watch MCU like that,
I get
or
they don't,
people don't like. They don't realize that this is gonna be a massive spoiler.
You don't think that they sat down like most of these people that are getting interviewed?
I don't think. I think sometimes. I think
they
sometimes the entertainers or the celebrities get away with just like a version of influencing. Just get invited to it, and there's no PR team that tells them. Should there be? Sure.
I was gonna say Marvel. If that's the case, then Marvel is dropping the ball on that because that's goofy. You're gonna build up an entire ad campaign about the mystery of who this character is, and you're not gonna PR train all the people that are going on to make sure that they don't spoil the film. Like, that's embarrassing on their part. If it's embarrassing on his part if he was, but it's embarrassing on their part if he wasn't. You know?
Shout out to Tom Holland for once not spoiling the movie though.
He tried though. Did you see that?
Was it the one where he's talking
someone was like interviewing him and he was like, yeah, like how does it feel like they don't remember you at all? And he goes, I'm pretty at one point they remember me because of, and then Zendaya's like, no, that's the other one. He goes, no, but like it's what about this? And he's like trying to
she's trying to stop him.
And she's like, no.
That's
just
so funny.
It's really good. Tom Holland.
For
so
me, it wasn't spoiled in the sense that I saw someone confirm it besides that red carpet thing.
Sure.
But I know at Hall H, just to kind of do a small talk on that, Ryan Reynolds was wearing the gray Deadpool outfit, and the color was called Jean Grey because it was a Jean costume, and it was gray. And so it's like you guys.
Folks, I think we're reading too much into it. I think that's a crazy leap.
No, they did that. Like that was on purpose.
No, I saw Gray Deadpool.
And that was on purpose.
But what? But Gray Deadpool is a thing in the comics.
I know, but his material was out of Jean. Like they did that as a joke to hint to Jean Grey. Like they're connecting everything.
I can see that. I can see that maybe.
But yeah. Anyway, so
getting back into the
into the movie with the whole. involvement of Jean Grey. I guess let's start there.
Sure.
How do you think the expression of mutants through her was represented in the film? Did you enjoy that?
Well, yes, I did. We're gonna have to start bringing in these mutants soon. They've hinted at things in the past. You've seen Beast in one end credit scene for the Marvels. I do think for this world to work, you need to start bringing them in different ways. I don't think you make an X-Men movie and just introduce 30 X-Men in a row.
Yeah.
I think you need to drip feed some of
You
them.
need to find them.
So I really like that this involvement. This is a crazy take of Jean Grey, making her like this much of like a villain get-go. She killed people.
And
She killed people in this movie.
And I do think it's a different origin than we've ever gotten.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I like it.
I like it.
It's just crazy different.
It was crazy different, but I think it parallels her and Peter Parker in two different ways, where they both have undergone a loss and a tragedy like no one else has ever experienced for them, and with these powers that they have.
Yeah.
Peter is trying his best to hold on to that humanity, those teachings of Uncle Ben and Aunt May that they gave him. She did not have that. She was pushed away from her family for being a mutant. She only had her sister who was trying to help her become understanding of who she was with her mutant powers, and just know that they had life together. They didn't need anything else.
Yep.
And then that was taken from her. And so what would you do in that moment? Personally, I understand Jean Grey's mentality of like, I'm going to go after this guy that has kidnapped my sister and do everything I need to save her. And then she bumps into someone that she can't mind jump in. She's like, well, now I got to step it up because he's going to stop me and I can't let that happen.
For sure. And listen, she does a lot of devious things in this. One of them being that she mind controls MJ and does that whole manipulation plot, which it's wild.
It's rough.
I don't hate it as a character choice. Like, I think it's great. Like, a lot of people, the internet, that's a very divisive scene because people are like, that's a little too far, Jean Grey, future hero. And it's like, listen, you're right. She was not trained in these.
Well, she's at this point she's not a hero. She's not a hero.
Exactly.
She is not a hero. She has not had moments to make her decide she's a hero. She has not worked with a team. She has no conversations with Xavier yet, who becomes a big of her mentor, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing a kid with powers who is upset and trying to find her sister who's being kidnapped. Like, that's valid.
Yeah.
She is doing whatever she can to do it. Like, yes, it was very harsh for her to mess with Peter that way, but Peter wasn't letting her go. So he's like, she said, I'm going to show you what I can do.
How old do you think this Jean Grey is?
That's what I've been thinking too, because Peter at this point we have said is 20.
Yeah, I think he's like 25.
25, because they've done.
Or 22, 23?
I think like 23.
No, they're 4 years out of high school because they're just out of college. So he's like 22, 23?
I think.
She also might be around that age, maybe a year or two younger.
I'd say maybe she's like 19, 20.
Okay.
I'm a little confused because they didn't really say
Sadie
it.
Sink like can play 25 to like 18 at this point. So it's like
I think it would be interesting to kind of keep her and Spider-Man at the same
relatively the same age.
Group. Yeah. If that's because I think, as you mentioned, bring in the X-Men. I think a part of bringing in the X-Men is kind of having them lead the new MCU.
Yeah.
And having the Young Avengers be the same age group as the X-Men, which is pretty interesting.
All these Young Avengers are going to be like 30 by the time this movie comes out.
I know. And so it's a little confusing on what they're doing. Obviously, we could get something completely different where they reset all the worlds with doing something like Battle World or something. But, all these theories that keep
them making
around.
Jean Grey a part of this universe changes what I originally thought they were going to do with the mutants of like the MCU.
Sure.
So like I thought that they were going to be coming in from another universe, or like timelines were going to merge. I also
thought
like
they were going to do it that way. So like now, because we also have Namor in this, which Namor is a mutant.
They did call him a mutant. You have technically Miss Marvel is considered a mutant in this world.
Yeah, she was Inhuman mutant. Like they go back and forth on that. So I think she is mutant in this MCU, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember. And then I think there's one other that we're missing that was like a mutant-esque character. But besides the point,
there was something in She-Hulk where like one of the mutant characters was just like a person.
A person.
I don't know.
But anyway, so like yeah, I was surprised that they were having Jean Grey be from this world. I thought she was gonna be from a different timeline, and she just was
Yeah.
running away, right?
Yeah.
Another running away from something.
Is
But
America Chavez a
oh, I
mutant?
think she is actually.
Yeah.
Good question.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll figure.
But
We'll
also, like, that's the thing. I feel like I don't want to digress too much on this topic because we're on a Spider-Man
Yeah.
conversation. But
Yep.
one thing I'd like to just point out and move away from is that America Chavez is right there to kind of add that to timeline stuff. And why aren't we using that?
Yeah, it's actually crazy that we haven't seen
But
most of these characters since the first movie that
well,
came
I'll
out.
save that for a different time. Within the inclusion of mutants, I think this was a really interesting way to do it. I
Yeah.
think they can now introduce other characters and start speeding up. With the upcoming Doomsday, we do have mutants in that already. So I'm interested to see if they're going to try to bring mutants from different worlds and just kind of combine them into one.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have like the differences in the X-Men because of that, or if they're going to do a comic arc where we have younger X-Men and some older X-Men. I don't know.
It's a shame that there aren't more movies before Doomsday where you can hopefully show off. Like, imagine if there was like a Shang-Chi movie coming out 2 months before Doomsday, and like one of the people that he works alongside was another mutant or something. Like,
yeah, it would be really cool to have like at the end credit of something where it's like,
but not even the end credit.
Well, not even
like,
end credit, but I
bring
mean
it
like in general,
Like, yeah.
like you see like Jean, a 2-year timeline has happened or something, and Jean's like, hey, I have a team now, by the way. Boom.
Something,
right?
yeah.
Something small.
Because I think the way they brought in Jean in this one, you could do that with 10 other different projects. Like in Thunderbolts, you could have had a mutant as a thing. Like in so many of these movies, you could have started introducing them way earlier.
Sure.
I guess the problem was the casting, that they were just like...
They just weren't ready yet.
Yeah.
But, so this is my problem, and this, touching back into Spider-Man, this is my biggest problem with it, is the MCU ties. Because there's always so much to be figuring out within writing. That's one thing which I feel like they can do a lot better. But then it becomes casting and marketing and how they're trying to sell it. So then these movies are suffering because they're not ready to say we're doing X-Men projects yet.
Because
so
it's
they
hard.
can't include X-Men.
So it's hard to just make like a really good Spider-Man movie because of its involvement with the MCU.
Right.
And all of those marketing decisions and those future plans. I'm with you on that.
Because then, like, I imagine someone was like, you have to include a mutant in here somehow. We want it to be Jean Grey. And it's like, okay, well, now let me write around that.
Yeah,
do I think they did a great job for that? Yeah, actually, for once, I really liked it. It's probably one of my favorite MCU movies I've seen.
Let's talk about your theory that you have brought up to me before.
Oh, yes, okay. So I've heard the lizard one. Yeah.
The lizard and
so I heard,
the other one.
I heard that it was supposed to be, instead of Jean Grey, it was originally written as Mr. Negative, and instead of Hulk, it was Lizard. Right? Because they are characters that fall very similar into their categories.
They both could be involved in this movie.
Again, if we're getting just the Spider-Man story, honestly could have been really good because then we're introducing a lot of Spider-Man's rogues gallery.
Yeah.
But the thing is, since we had No Way Home, he's already seen a lizard before. He already knows some of these things. Harry Osborn and, the Osborn Corporation doesn't exist. So it's like, MCU-ifying Spider-Man has taken away a lot of his core characters. So they're trying to create new principles for him.
Yeah.
So that's where I was upset when I first heard that it could have been Lizard and Negative. I did sit on it after we had that theory, and I told you, and Brian yelled at me, and rightfully so. Like you were saying it in a way that was like, but just think about how it didn't make sense and how some of it sounded like people were just kind of throwing things into bots.
You're right that they do fit those things. Like what Jean Grey was doing, where she was like hopping in, you can make that argument that like at one point that was Mr. Negative, where he was mind controlling people to do things like making an old woman hijack a tank and do all that stuff. And then the Hulk rampage throughout this movie, or like in the middle of this movie, that could just be the Lizard. I do see where those characters fit into those spots, but at the same time, you brought it up like someone like said it in an interview that like it happened, and I was like, no, that's definitely just internet speculation. I like the theory. I think it's definitely possible that at one point in early development,
in the beginning of
this could have been like a thing, but at the same time, it's we have never heard that being confirmed.
Confirmed, sure. And we'll never really ever know what was in the rooms. Right?
Yeah.
Because they're never going to really say, like, oh, we're going to do this, but then we decided we had to force this in there. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think as I sit with it, I do understand a lot more of why they had Hulk and why they had...
And I like it.
...the Punisher and Jean Grey, and I like it. I really do. I think that it makes sense that you have all these connective tissues to use it. This movie did it good in where every character who was added had a purpose to the story, and it wasn't a cameo fest.
Yes.
Where then we had No Way Home, and I did not enjoy it because everything felt like we're just saying, I can do this, so I'm going to, and it means nothing.
Agreed. You and I have talked about this before, but our biggest hot takes is that No Way Home is a really fun movie. It's not a good movie.
Right.
Because now, in this world, if Peter Parker runs into an Osborn, he's like, okay, I've got to keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
Or if he runs into an Octavius, it's like, okay, I got to keep an eye on it. Like, you've now made it that his two biggest villains, he can never run into it in this world unless you, like, change it up. Like, unless you do an Olivia Octavius or something like that. Like,
you have to do
then,
something funky, or you need to reset the timeline for the 1,000th time, or you have to connect the worlds together. It's like, yeah, you guys did something that you thought would be so fun, and then in doing so, it is like, who's lore checking? Who's making sure the continuity makes sense? That's my biggest problem with MCU is there's a continuity issue. And like, I just think they should have dedication to that craft if they're going to continue making these movies. Yeah. And maybe they're leaning that way because this one was a good step in the right direction for me.
Yeah. I was just about to say, out of the MCU movies that came out in the last 5 years since like Endgame and all that, this is my favorite one. Yeah. It felt like a cohesive movie. It was actually very tightly written, like down to like small details. Like things like the inhibitor where they like never just got it knocked out of his hand and then he just had it miraculously like a second later. Like they made sure that like he like picked it up at one point and like it does
even then, like I think when they did do something that was like very comic booky, like when the inhibitor broke and then he's with Frank and MJ. He's like, man, I really need these tools to make another one. I'm going to go look for it. He's like, why would I not have this right here? And he's like, you have all these things, Frank? And he's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, that's...
And that's like, it's so funny and so silly, but like that's an okay writing device to be like, he has the things. Yeah. And okay, move on with it.
Real quick, getting into like the 4 MCU characters that were in this movie. Sure. We have Yelena, the Hulk, Bruce Banner, Frank, the Punisher, and now Jean Grey. Anybody else that I'm missing?
I mean, Spider-Man himself.
Well, Spider-Man, I'm talking about their relationship.
The relationship. Sure.
Because this is a Spider-Man movie.
Then you had 4 MCU characters. Yeah.
Yes. Like you said in other movies where, like, sometimes someone just shows up and you're like, cool, why? Yeah. I think this movie does well. Like when you're watching Iron Man 2 and Black Widow is a main character, or you're watching Thor and Hawkeye is a side character, like he's in one or two scenes. I think it bodes well that you have these characters in the thing. And like you said, they each do something well for the story. Like running through it, Yelena, she's running the Avengers.
The new Avengers.
So she would be in contact with Spider-Man and she would be like, this doesn't seem like it's important for us, but here's some information.
That's such a small potato, Peter.
Yeah, small potatoes is becoming a meme is really funny.
I love small potato. Big
how did you like those scenes with Yelena?
So that's exactly what you're saying. I agree with. I think that the side characters were used very well. Yeah. Whether MCU related or even just like Ned and MJ, where I felt like everyone had their own purpose. Yeah. And it wasn't just to throw them in. Yeah. As well as what we saw on screen was enough to fit that character. Yeah. So Yelena being like, yes, I'm the head of this. Your problems are small. I'll let you know when they're big. And also like, this is my team kind of stuff. Yeah. Worked very well. It didn't feel like, oh my God, an Easter egg. Here we go. Like it made sense. Like,
and now Bruce's involvement. How do you feel about that?
Bruce's involvement is also pretty interesting because where they didn't talk about why he's back in human form and not keeping in the.
I don't need to know that. I feel like it makes sense. That
I feel like they did that.
I
think they did that just for the movie because then they needed the release of the Hulk, and it makes more sense for them to do that this way.
He was a human in the end scene of Shang-Chi.
Oh, was he?
He was.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
And he had the inhibitor on his arm.
Oh, okay. So they've been doing it for a while. Then I did forget. Okay, that makes sense.
There are people online who are a little confused because they're like, "Oh, in She-Hulk, he was
and maybe he goes back and forth, right?
I think he does,
and which is valid. I liked it too, right? Like, of course, like what else he's gonna do? He doesn't want to keep fighting crime anymore.
I like that he's a professor.
He just wants to be a professor, and and it's funny that he goes to school ready to teach,
and he's like, "All right, students give me some jokes.
What do you guys want?" Right? And so they do that, and I thought that was very warm and fitting. So then for Jean to then find him and use him in that purpose was really cool.
It was heartbreaking because he was like,
he was hurt.
Yeah,
is everyone okay?
Yeah.
And again, I like that a lot. And I think that was really, really good. I think that was done very well.
I also really loved how Peter kept being like, "But if you were to do this inhibitor, would you do it like this?" And he's like, "But at what point, are you suppressing these things? And who are you suppressing?" That you've talked to me about this. This might lead to
So I do want to touch on
collars.
The inhibitor collars,
that is
Peter
crazy.
is one of the first people, if not the person that got that created in this world now.
And I would love if that's.
How do you think the mutants are gonna feel when it's like he just comes over? He's like, "Hey guys," and they're like, "Yeah, no, you're the one that made the collar."
Truthfully, I don't believe the MCU will make it like a Civil War Part 2 where X-Men are now trying to hunt down Peter for making this. Or I don't think they're even going to reference that this is the case, but it might be a really fun little headcanon thing.
Sure.
I don't think the writing that they're doing in the MCU is going to be like, "Oh, he left this inhibitor, and a few years later they're using it as this collar." However, if they do, masterpiece.
I think it'd be fun for them to introduce that later if they go that route, for then Jean to be like, he was doing it because I pushed him a little too far.
Yes.
Right? It's something like that where then they can have this closer dynamic.
Yeah.
Because I think they would have that relationship to
She's going to be an ally.
I think so.
So
right?
I think maybe some mutants might not like Spider-Man.
And again, it could be like
will.
Magneto or something, right? Like the Brotherhood of Evil or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to just have in the background. If they don't do anything with it, I won't be mad.
Yeah.
If they do something flavorful, cool.
All right. Now getting into Frank Castle, the Punisher.
Okay, so Frank Castle, I thought it was a lot of fun. I think it was interesting to see him when he's with Daredevil, how different their relationship is.
Yeah.
And that's a whole meme of itself.
I love how he hates Daredevil and they insult each other, they fight each other. And in this movie, he's like, "You're a good kid."
That's his boy,
Yeah.
And it feels like it is funny because with Peter, he kind of gets back into this nurturing side of Punisher that not many people realize he has. And realize that he is a caring person, but it's just the world that's kind of made him feel like he's been failed.
Yeah.
And so he gets a character who he's like, "Yeah, this is a good kid. This is someone who really does care. I wish I was like that. I never will be.
Yeah.
But I can make sure that he doesn't change into something like me."
Yeah.
Love that.
I love a Punisher with this much range where you could watch Punisher One Last Kill where he's going through it and he is the worst he's ever been.
Yeah.
And then you see him in this, and he's a bit of a softie.
He's a big soft.
Him wearing the mask and cheering at the end, he's so goofy. Him letting MJ stay, and he's like, "I'm making chili," and it's stuff like that. I will take that dynamic over a Punisher who's only gruff and
I love
through
that
it.
the range that John Bernthal has itself, but also that
shocking
that the allowance to do that in the film.
Yeah.
Right? Because when they were bringing Punisher in, I was like, "Oh, they're not going to do it good." Right? Because it's like a jet lag. We just saw One Last Kill. So coming into this, we're like, they're going to keep that same mentality. It's going to feel very weird. Why are they working together if that's not something they would do?
Yeah.
But I think they did it very well in the beginning when they have this dynamic already. We have a new version of
the Budapest.
Which
I knew
is
that you were going to
Staten Island.
Yeah.
Because that's so cool.
They're like, "What happened on Staten Island?"
And we won't ever know unless they do a one shot 30-minute thing about it, which could be cool. But regardless, we don't necessarily need it because it's a time of usage of that skill where they just say something and we don't have the background information.
It's
but
world building.
They're acting it.
Yeah.
And they're doing very good about bringing it up. Where they brought it up, I think 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time I was laughing.
My favorite part was when they were both arguing and MJ's standing there and they're both just shouting over each other. And it's like.
And she's literally just standing there. Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, because Punisher is like, oh, well, what do you think? Well, I'm doing this, you do that. And then Peter's like, blah, 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 and they're doing it at the same time. And MJ's just like, what?
Sure, but I think, again, I really liked what they did, even towards the end, especially like you'd mentioned when he shoots Peter and he's carrying him and rushing to the hospital. Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
All right, and it's like that scene in Civil War that he's holding Spider-Man's body.
Yeah.
And that he like was able to not only sneak him into the hospital, which, by the way, I heard they cut a scene which the night nurse was actually supposed to be in this movie. And
the night nurse
from Daredevil, you know, the superhero medic. She's like known. What's her? You know,
I do know. Yes,
Claire.
Yes, the one that normally takes care of Matt because he gets beat up like every 4 episodes.
Apparently, she has established herself to continue to be the superhero like a healer,
doctor,
which
nurse.
is so cool.
That's cool.
So apparently, the scene that was cut out was that she was sneaking Spider-Man in and oversaw the surgery to make sure no one looked at his mask. Which I think is cool. We don't need it. That's fine. I think it'd be cool to be including in a deleted scene. So
I hope they do that.
Bring back deleted scenes in movies. Like, I miss those.
You don't want to not establish that character for over 2 hours of this movie, and then when you show her audiences that aren't familiar with her, you're just like, what? It's a lot easier for them to cut that scene and then Punisher be like, yeah, we made sure that nobody
and then they added later. So I thought that was fine, but I think it was cool to know that was there.
Yeah.
But then, him sitting there the whole time, Jean, like, holding on to his breathing to make sure he lived through it is such a wonderful, like, note on there. And then afterwards, again, this guy who is very aggressive and very, like, shiftfully different than Peter, when he's helping him escape, puts on the mask and just, he's so happy jumping around in that suit.
It was so goofy.
Takes every time to grunt and scream, and I think it's so funny.
John Bernthal grunting in the mask is just the funniest.
I just think it was good, and like,
it's so great.
Again, normally they do stuff like that and it doesn't work, but they made sure to add everything they needed to get to that point where it felt deserved.
Sure.
And that's why I liked it.
Hell yeah.
And then the fourth one was Jean Grey.
It was Jean Grey, and we've already talked about that a little bit. But I really do like Jean Grey's involvement in this. People were mad that like Jean Grey was the antagonist of the movie or whatever. And to me, it's like, I don't care. Like, we've already seen him go up against so many people in his rogues gallery. We did get Scorpion in this movie twice, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So like, I'll take it not being someone in his typical rogues gallery. I thought it was a really fun movie for that. Like,
I think, again, for a film that is not trying to be just a Spider-Man movie, which we have to acknowledge it never is going to be at this point.
But I think you could watch this movie on its own more so than you can watch No Way Home.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But what I mean by that is, like, they did a new version of a quote-unquote villain that ended up being someone who is just misguided and can now fall into their new character role. But I think that was done very wonderfully. And I think having Jean Grey star as an antagonist who then eventually finds the way through Peter, which is something we have been fighting for. Where, like, what I was trying to say was where Spider-Man theoretically has never had a just Spider-Man film away from any other MCU properties, they were able to capture everything I was asking for, in the sense that we show that he's a very empathetical character who has a lot of heart and he touches a lot of other characters in that same way that make them question what they're doing. Yeah. He's constantly doing that. Yes. And so to be able to have that introduction through Jean Grey really shows that definition of Spider-Man and Peter Parker in a way that we have not seen on screen. Yeah. And that made me really happy. Like when they're sitting down talking to Aunt May.
That's a great scene.
Three of them are there. Wonderful, because that is the closest we've gotten to the Peter that I've been asking for. Yeah. And to be able to use that as the pipeline to get Jean Grey to eventually be the character we know her as, Jeff's kiss for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that scene is awesome. That the way that they show Peter realizing, like, he's in this mind memory thing, and he hears the gunshot, and you go that like hallway, and it's like it's dark, and you hear the gunshot, and like that scene was made so well. Like they did such a good job with that. And yeah, I mean, like his dichotomy with like Frank is willing to take out this person if they're a problem, whereas Peter will never do that. Like, and the fact that he stepped in and like he took the bullet, and it makes Frank realize that he did something wrong. Like, you know, like that's not always the way, because you might hurt other people. I think you needed the involvement in some of these characters that we already know. Like, it would have been hard to introduce a new character to set up that dynamic, whereas we know who Frank is. And if you don't know who Frank is, they characterize him very quickly in this movie.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I didn't like was that they never called him Punisher. And I'm not sure if that's because it was a kid-friendly movie or because they just didn't want to. Because
there
he
was
called him Frank the whole time. I don't remember ever him being called Punisher. Sure. I wish she would have been in, like, maybe Jean Grey got in his head when she was like, oh, this guy's messed up, I like it. You're like, whoa, this guy, the Punisher, is kind of nuts. I like it.
Sure.
That would have been enough for me. But it's fine. It's fine. I get it. A lot of people know who Frank Castle was. And, like, I think the scene enough where he had his locker open and his family was there and MJ questioned it and he got very, like, defensive. That was also good enough for us to kind of see the idea of the character. But you are right. I think their usage of these MCU characters, to wrap up your question, were done properly.
Yeah.
And probably, if not the best way they could have done to kind of support Spider-Man and not take away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Bernthal. I learned John Bernthal was a good actor when he was playing Gene in Him. And he was like, bye, Spider-Man, and walked away. And I'm like, okay, John Bernthal. I didn't realize you could act. I love that.
That was really good.
Well, because I'm like, John Bernthal, great actor. He's only ever played the same tone, no matter what movie or thing that he's in. So seeing him be Jean Grey in Him, I was like...
And I do love that. I love a good scene and like just an acting sense when someone's being mind controlled or bodies are shifted where they have to act a little different.
Yeah.
And I do think...
even how he was walking, he like had a certain...
He had a little strut to him.
It was so good.
And it was very good.
Oh, it was wonderful. Did you've played the Marvel...
Insomniac?
The Insomniac Spider-Man?
Yeah, I'm glad that
this movie is caked up in that movie.
There are so many segments that are very Insomniac style fighting.
The swinging,
I thought that was done
fighting
beautifully.
It is so good. That Spider-Man, the Insomniac Spider-Man, is my favorite iteration of Spider-Man because he just is so amazing. This movie, there were at least 20 times where I went, that is the coolest thing I've seen Spider-Man do in live action. And it happened multiple times throughout the movie. It was just... the move set that he was doing was incredible.
We even have the web grenades.
Web grenade, yeah.
We had like web grenades. We had the little tech that kind of mixed into it. We had the outfit. Then at one point, there's a scene where he's standing next to MJ, and I was like, he looks like he's ripped out of the comic book.
Yeah,
like he's highlighted right now and glowing.
Yeah.
Like if he should not be in this scene because the suit looks so good.
I've never been a person who was like, oh, this is my favorite suit of this Captain America or this Iron Man or this Peter Parker Spider-Man. However, I think that's because most of the time it's like CGI'd or like touched up with that. This suit rocked.
Yeah, this was
I loved how it looked. Did you see the interview where they talked about how you can see his eyes through the mask at certain points? Did you notice that?
I did not notice at all.
There are some close-ups where he's talking and you see his eyes, and that was a move by Daniel Destin Creighton.
Yeah.
And that is genius. Like you could see his like Peter's eyes moving within the mask, and it works. I love how it pulls down. Like you could still see his chin, but you see that there's like a protective thing that makes it round here. Sure. I love how it ripples when he's like diving. This and like the colors, everything about this suit is just the best that a Spider-Man suit has ever looked, in my opinion.
No, I the colors especially is what really popped for me.
Yeah.
And then you could even notice it when they're like doing the swinging with the webs. And something else with the suit, just like I kind of get annoyed sometimes in superhero movies when they forcefully take the mask off so we can see the actor beneath.
Yeah.
I think this one had a great mix of the two.
I was gonna say there were some times he did a full scene,
just Spider-Man, and when they took off the mask, it's because it was a meaningful moment, and I was okay with it. Like this time, I was not like, oh, I can't believe the mask is off, right? Like it was a good blend of both the Spider-Man and the Peter conversation, which was a big part of this movie, right? Yeah. It was the "Are you Spider-Man? Are you Peter Parker?" And then he did the thing where it's like, "I'm both." Yeah. Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I said earlier that the arachnid DNA part, I didn't love the conclusion of it. I loved it throughout the movie. One of the reasons why I loved it so much was how, as a Spider-Man fan, you got to see him at his best. Like, before those things start happening, he is a Spider-Man that is kicking ass. He moves perfectly throughout everything. And then when those things start happening and he has the webs coming out of his wrist, he does the scene where he's like, come on, why isn't it working? Nothing. And then he's swinging and he has to like say, swing, release, shoot, release, like doing that.
He's like he's learning all over again.
We got a Spider-Man in this movie where he is at the top of his game and he's learning. So we are having our cake and eating it too. Like, sure. Because we never got that with this Spider-Man.
No, we never got the origin.
He was 6 months in in that first movie. Like, it's so cool that we are now like, we got that ability to see him learn how to be a better Spider-Man, and then also saw him at the top of his game. Yeah. Like, he is in his Spider-Man prime right now. Yeah. This movie... It was so fun for me.
And to reverse on that, he was the lowest Peter that he's ever been, right? Yep. What do you think? What was your take on him when he was meeting MJ and Ned, and he kept giving them different names? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like that was someone who is like, I'm scared to say Peter, and then they go, I remember you, so that's why he didn't say the name? Or do you think he was just so nervous that he was just in his head about it?
I think he was being nervous, and he was just like, I don't know. Like, I truthfully don't know, like, his full mindset on it. I don't think it was anything where he was like, if I say Peter, they might remember. Yeah. But at the same time, I also was wondering, like, why not just say Peter? Because they don't know who you are. Sure. But at the same time, I didn't put a lot of thought process to it, because it was like, sure, he's nervous. He's just going to say a thing, you know? However, getting into them being friends again, I don't believe we will see them. I don't think we'll ever see him and MJ be together again. I think that they will be friends. I think hopefully the next movie, we get a Gwen, we get a Black Cat.
Do you think that was Gwen in the elevator?
I don't know what the hell that was, because is it the same girl where he was wearing her clothes? Yeah. Is it the same girl?
Same one. It's the first one. She's like, "Oh, we live in the same one." And he goes, "Okay," and then he leaves. Right?
Because like, I assume they would cast the same one. A bigger actor to play Gwen or Black Cat, because to my knowledge, she was like not a nobody, but like a cat person we don't know.
I guess the question I don't remember is, didn't we get Gwen in Homecoming? Like, she was the one that was like talking on the school news.
No, that's Betty Brant.
That was Betty Brant. Okay, so then we've never had a Gwen in.
No, we've never had a Gwen in this one.
It could be, but like, again, that's not something.
I do think they like to just put a blonde in a movie just so that we get talking about it. When in reality, that was just to show that Peter cut himself off from everybody. From everyone. Like, he's like, I'm not even focusing on talking to another person. He doesn't see pretty girl.
He just sees, I need to be away from everyone.
Yes. Yeah. So like a girl was like, oh, you're in the same building as, like, you're the same floor as me. And he was like, yep, see ya. Yeah. Like, because that's Peter. That's to show Peter is so uninterested in being Peter.
Yeah. Are you wearing my pajama pants?
When she said no, because it was a shirt initially, and he was like, no, this is mine. And like, that fit is crazy, where it's like the crop top, and then he walks out, and I think it says juicy on the back. Yeah. It's just so good.
It's the greatest fit. It's so funny.
Tom Holland, just so funny, and I like how he's a comfortable, like, he's comfortable with his masculinity.
He's comfortable with who he is.
Where he did like that umbrella thing like years ago.
Ate it up.
And you know, you got to have a Spider-Man that's comfortable to do that stuff, because for some reason, like, he's got to be extremely confident and also incredibly dorky, like, because that's just who Spider-Man is.
Canon Spider-Man bisexual?
It has to be.
How do you feel about that when they were talking about with Yelena? When she was like, "Oh, I see the fan art of you in your rogue gallery."
And he's like, "Trust me, I've seen it."
Yeah.
I don't think
and he never, because she was like, "Do you have like a Spider-Man or Spider-Girl or whatever?"
Yeah.
And he just ignored it. Like,
yeah,
obviously not.
well, in the comics, don't they do him and Johnny Storm?
No, it's
or is that just
him and Johnny Storm are best friends? But there is a thing where they're talking about people Moon Knight have dated, and Peter goes, "Yeah, me too."
Oh,
like
I've also heard Deadpool is like flirtatious with Spider-Man, because I know Deadpool is the most bi character in all of Marvel.
Sure,
like
sure.
it's
Yeah.
Yes. I think Peter's probably like a 95% women, 5% men. You know, that type of dynamic.
Same.
But yeah, listen. I love a Spider-Man who's confident in himself as Spider-Man, and then he's like nerdy little Peter Parker.
And I think that, again, that was great. That was really cool for me to see Peter just unsure of himself, but he knows who he is as a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which was part of the confliction. So talking about some things we didn't like.
Oh, okay. Because you have a lot more dislikes than I do.
Okay, and I have sat on some of them.
And we've discussed some of them.
So one thing I didn't like that has won me over, not by any means of anything, but just myself. I didn't like the marketing in the beginning because I was kind of taken apart when I saw Little Caesar, then I saw Liquid IV, then I saw Birrio in a bodega. For me, I was like, okay, we're clearly just putting these in here because they were selling Spider-Man Liquid IV, Spider-Man Birrio, Spider-Man Little Caesar. Tom Holland owns Birrio. I love Birrio though. Not sponsored. Birrio is great. But at first, I didn't like it. And then I started to realize in how many movies, after you had mentioned that, like, movies just do that in general, how much I don't notice it, but it's always happening. Like, I was looking at Dr. Pepper ads in cinema, like, someone did a YouTube video, and it was showing you every time Dr. Pepper's been in, like, a movie. And I'm like, okay, so they do it all the time. I'm just never noticing. But since I've been seeing all these products, and these are mostly products I use, like I'm always ordering a hot and ready Little Caesar.
Yeah, I
love some Liquid IVs.
I don't know, like I see a character eating Little Caesars in a thing, and I go, yeah, me too. Same, because that's just what the real world looks like. Like we talked about this. And yes. I looked around my room when we were having this conversation. I'm like, that's a product name right there. That's a brand name. That's a brand name. That's just what the real world looks like. Yeah. But there are some things throughout movies, and I didn't catch it in this movie, but like it could have happened, where sometimes someone's just like holding a can, and you're like, you don't hold a can like that. And then they're like drinking it.
It's like Stranger Things with the Coca-Colas.
Stranger Things, that's the only time I've ever noticed brand placement, like product placement, and went, this is too much.
But for me, I also realized, like, whatever, product placement isn't the worst thing for me to be mad about a movie. Like, and I'm not gonna fault a movie for product placement because, again, thinking about it as like a creative and stuff like that, like if you need to find a way to do something, you might as well do it in a way that blends naturally, and it does blend naturally.
People said for the longest time that E.T. did it the worst with like certain things. Where like,
well, I don't watch E.T., so I don't know.
Well, in E.T. there are times where like someone like holds open a box and like it's just there, and you're just like,
and that's what I'm saying. If you need product placement in your movie, like,
sorry, I remembered it was Reese's Pieces. They made like a big deal with Reese's Pieces, and that's like a whole thing. I watched like a documentary on that because it's weird. But yeah,
but like I said, they were just there. It never took away from the story. It was just a glance. I think I was being a haterade on it. But,
you just catch it. Just caught your eye more.
It caught my eye, and now I'm feeling more comfortable with it because also, like, again, for him to put Birrio in a product that he owns in the movie that he's doing, get your bag, King. Like, shout out.
Because that's what I noticed in interviews. Between the Odyssey and Spider-Man, they've been doing back-to-back press tours.
Yeah.
By the way, crazy month for both Zendaya and Tom
and Bernthal.
Yeah,
all three of them
actually like they didn't catch a break for the last like 5 months, and that's nuts. But I will say, I've seen a dozen interviews where Tom Holland goes, "Oh, I'm always drinking a Birrio." That's my Tom Holland, and he's like, "I'm always drinking a Birrio and doing this while we're doing that." I'm like, "Listen, I get it. I get you own that thing." And that maybe that's true. Maybe he's just being honest. I think Tom Holland is more PR trained than we give him credit for.
That's true.
Because people always joke like, "Oh, he's always spilling the beans on stuff like that."
Well, I think he's also a person, right? Like that's why
100%.
That's why I really like Tom Holland because
I do love Tom
he
Holland.
does fluctuate
Yeah.
from like showing you the PR side of things
Yeah.
and to just being an excited human being.
And I think he
Right,
could definitely
and
be
like,
both.
and I think he is both. And Spider-Man finding he's both. You know, same thing. Tom Holland,
Are you Tom Holland, good PR person, or Tom Holland, chaotic person?
and he's both.
I'm both.
He's for sure both. But I think like not to jump too much on the marketing thing or the
Sure.
product placement. At first, it took me out of the movie. Then I realized I was being silly, and it's fine, and it's actually
Sure.
really cool. I like that they did it. It wasn't something where Spider-Man was falling out of a freaking building, and then he stops and goes, "And here's a beerio. You should drink this." Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like that. What else would I not like?
Yeah, I want to, like, because we're
Okay,
gonna wrap up in a few, but just give me some of the things that
I
bother you the
think
most.
to close towards the end of this, one thing I didn't like was the confusion of Peter and Spider-Man and people forgetting with a spell.
Yeah.
What did that mean? Like, I think they kept going back and forth where like a lot of people don't remember Peter, but they remember that Spider-Man saved them in school.
Yeah.
So, but then Yelena doesn't remember that he was fighting in space, or did she not know that he wasn't fighting in space? Because they might not remember.
Yelena wasn't there in space.
But wouldn't she know that he was an Avenger at one point?
But it's like,
And so like, there's
I
some things,
guess,
like there's
sure.
a couple of things like, and again, maybe they have reasons for it, but I just felt like people kept going back and forth on what they understood of Spider-Man and Peter, that it didn't always hold. But again, that's just me being very picky.
sure.
And something else with that was a little confusing was, how did Peter have this money and this tech if no one remembers him?
I've
when
heard
he
people
had
voice
zero?
that.
For me, I think to kind of make sense of it, my brain goes to, he knows where Tony hid around things just in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would still have the access to it and have the key codes. It also could be that Aunt May left him a will, and that obviously if people forgot that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, that doesn't mean Peter doesn't exist. Like, I imagine he still has a birth certificate and a social security, right?
Yeah.
So then he goes in and he's like, hey, Aunt May left me a will, and they're like, wait, who are you? She had a nephew? Oh, yeah, you're right here. Let me see your ID. Okay, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So he probably got that from a will. It's not something I need answered, but at first I was thinking about it because they didn't talk about it. But
I think that the spell, obviously this is my own headcanon of it, and I think this works well with like how the universe set it up. I think Peter Parker still always existed. I think everyone's memories of Peter Parker become blurred or like non-existent.
Sure.
So yes, they remember Spider-Man saving them many times throughout different journeys or whatever, but they don't necessarily remember that it's attached to Peter, and then any memories with Peter are something
are
else.
so foggy.
Which is why Ned knows how to do that thing, but he doesn't realize. I don't think he
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with
I don't
that.
think he remembers all of his memories with Peter Parker in that moment. Like, I don't think a lot of people are interpreting as him getting his memories.
Can I give my theory on that?
Sure, make it quick, but yes.
That's crazy. Don't tell me what to do. So my theory on it is that I think in this final scene that was before they're in the hospital, when they're sharing this mind memory, and then she has everyone in that radius in a stasis, that once Peter gets shot and she drops whatever, she had an emotional reaction, where Jean Grey's powers work in a telephone sense, but it's a one-way telephone. She goes in their head, but they aren't in her head. Peter is the first person that they shared this two-way telephone. So she saw a lot of his memories with MJ, with Ned, whatever. So she's held on to that. So I think when the psychic abilities linked everyone in this stasis, then emotional reaction happened, Peter gets shot. She sensed some of those feelings, and not that they were unlocking memories, but she sent some of those memories to them, because then Zendaya's crying at one point during a scene, and it's like, why else would she be crying?
I think it's because it's a traumatic scene for for everybody that's like
for
frozen
me,
in
I
time.
think it's because she was starting to get those memories through Jean Grey, because that's my logic on it. And so when Ned does the handshake at the end, sure, it can be kind of muscle memory, but it's because he kind of gained some of those memories as a gift. That's my opinion. I think mutants are always doing the hard work and getting undersold. That's my hot take.
That's crazy. You can't shadow that saying, oh, mutants are always doing the hard, getting the brunt of it. You literally can't. That's insane. I think that works in like a written novel. How are you going to show this information in future movies? You're not. They're not going to say,
I mean, they could make
when I was trapped in that previous thing, I gained some of my memories. It's like, then why not just show
that's
that?
literally how they're going to do it. That's literally what it's going to happen.
I don't think so. I think the next time we catch up with them, him and Peter are going to be, Ned and Peter are going to be great friends, but it's going to be a new friendship that they've established. Ned may not remember his old memories, but he knows that he's great friends with this guy.
Sure.
He may know that he once had memories with Peter, and it might be like hey, did we ever watch this movie together? And it was like, we watched it 1,000,000 times together. Like, I think it might be something like that, but saying that like, oh, he got some of his memories back, MJ got some of her memories back, like, to me, that, while it works, I think that's too much exposition for the next movie to tackle.
Sure.
That it would just be, as a writing stance, is too much.
I think it's the case, especially because no one else in this circle that was under Jean Grey's control had memories of Peter and Spider-Man together. It was just them two. But I don't know. I'm not gonna fight to death for this one. Like it'll appear if it appears. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's just my theory.
Yes. Last two things. I want you to tell me your favorite part of the movie, and then discuss your Letterboxd review.
Okay.
And your rating.
I guess I can do my review. Like I'll do.
You can do it into both, however you want to do it.
So I gave Spider-Man a 8 out of 10.
What? When have we ever done out of 10? When have we ever done out of 10?
Can I not try new things?
No, we're the Letterboxd people. We're the Letterboxd people. We do out of 5. We have never done out of 10. This is crazy that you would do that.
Why would you do this to me?
That is genuinely insane.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
Did you give it a 4 out of 5? You did give it a 4 out of 5. I'm thinking you have two other friends.
And my favorite scene was when he was at the party. He saw MJ kiss, so he leaves, and Loser from Tame Impala starts playing, and he's going through like this whole
where he's running
montage.
Through.
Wonderful, because not only is that one of my favorite scenes in media that includes music that I actually think does fit to the scene, where it doesn't just feel like they're putting a popular song. They like really, in my opinion, did the research to see what Tom Holland or Peter Parker would be listening to at that time.
Sure.
And what is relevant in our media right now and what make him feel like if I'm running around, I just saw the love of my life kissing some other girl, a boy. And
you think you pop the AirPods in?
Pop an AirPod in and hear a sad song, I'd play Loser from Tame Impala. So seeing him and also the montage of like seeing the suit, right? That's what we're getting to really see the suit in different shots and being able to see him kind of fly through New York City, which then led into the Man Spider.
Yeah.
Or whatever we call that. That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say that is like a top 3 for me because it just shows how low Peter is at the moment. Like, there's a time where he swings up. It's a gorgeous shot. It's raining. He swings up. You see him, and he pictures her kissing the boyfriend, and he falls. And it's like, he might not catch himself. Like that's dark as hell. And like, but it's beautiful that he's like, that they're showing that he's going through that. And then they show that he swings and he's good. But like, it just shows you how low he is.
Sure.
For me, I'm torn between just the opening montage of the 4 years happening where you just see him being Spider-Man fighting what's his name? Oh my god. Tombstone, fighting Scorpion, fighting these guys, and like he's doing Spider-Man, a lot of those comic book shots, the swinging, the interacting with New York. I love a Spider-Man, like, because the previous 3, Homecoming did it the most. Then Far From Home was fully in Europe, and then the No Way Home was doing so much that it didn't have time for this. But I love a Spider-Man that is doing like a silly, goofy thing 1 minute, like helping someone with directions, and then fighting crime the next, and then swinging through the streets. I think this is the best swinging that we have seen.
Sure.
And it was just, I love doing the shots of the comic book covers. it's a little cheesy and corny because it's like you're just doing the thing to do the thing. But at the same time, as a Spider-Man fan, I loved it.
No, I think it's fun. I think it's a fun, like, creative little thing.
And then I loved that shot. I loved the scene with him and Jean Grey in his memories, and he's finally reaching her. He's like, "You're not alone."
That's a really good
And then
one.
as soon as he's like, "I have somebody," and she has somebody, Punisher fires a shot, and he almost dies.
He heroically kicks in, his natural reflex protect him.
Yeah, and I didn't think he was gonna die. I didn't think they were gonna kill Spider-Man, but the fact that we saw him almost die or basically die in Infinity War when he's like, "I don't want to go, Mr. Stark."
Yeah.
In this one, he's like, "Jean, like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay." Like,
yeah,
this Spider-Man is different.
This
Peter
changed
Parker
a lot, for sure.
has grown up, and it's beautiful, and it just. This is the Peter Parker that I've been wanting from Tom Holland's Spider-Man for the longest time, and I think we caught it with that.
And I think just do more of this.
I would love that.
Do more of this.
I think out of the 4 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, this is the best standalone one by miles.
By miles. I also think it's just one of the best done MCU movies.
Yes, it is.
It is such a refreshing. As someone who's been losing a lot of faith and hope in it, I personally saw this and went, okay, I can keep going.
Because even Thunderbolts that I really enjoyed.
I love Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts was awesome. I still went, this is a good MCU movie.
Sure.
This is a great MCU movie and just a great film.
Sure.
And that's why I like it so much more than
I can't wait to watch it again. I haven't had the time, but when
we're going to
have to go see it again because it's so.
It's hard to get tickets in New York City.
Oh my god!
So many people are seeing this movie.
Yeah,
it didn't already cross $1 billion.
I think so.
That's awesome.
I think it's probably the highest.
That's awesome. But with that, I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I said that while other people might not consider it a perfect movie, and some people will say that the MCU involvement brings it down a little bit, for me, I think it worked perfectly. As a Spider-Man film, it's just so good.
Yeah.
I think it was just so fun. There were 10 times throughout the movie where I was like, this is the best Peter Parker I've ever seen. And then there were 10 times where I was like, this is the best Spider-Man I've ever seen.
This is the first time I sat down on Letterboxd and wrote an actual long review instead of like putting a quirp.
Yeah.
Just because I had so many thoughts in my head, I was like, I gotta put it out somewhere. But yeah, no, it was a wonderful Spider-Man and Peter Parker that we have not had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what else we get from this.
Me too.
Cool.
Any more thoughts?
Do you want to read your Letterboxd?
You like her? No, I gave a little bit. Like or dislike the end credit scene?
Dislike end credit scene.
I disliked it too.
Dislike
I thought it was
end credit
silly
scene.
and stupid.
My last hot theory take that I'm going to say is I do think that is a reference to a different Spider-Man and not Peter Parker,
you think
Tom
that's
Holland.
Toby,
so I think
wild.
that's kind of showing us that Tobey Maguire is going to come in Doomsday. Why I'm saying this is not my original theory of Tobey Maguire being in Doomsday. I've heard people speculating this already, and I heard that there's a certain thing that got leaked of him appearing in a new Marvel logo. So, in my opinion, it makes no sense for that to be Tom Holland, because why would he be out of nowhere in space or in a different parallel universe? I think it's them referencing a variant, which shouldn't make sense to the idea of the tracker, but they're doing it because they're trying to connect their other movies, because that's the MCU connection. I'm telling you, it's kind of tough when they do it, but they did it. That's my opinion.
Okay. To me, I think it's easily, it is 100% showing Tom Holland's Peter Parker got like picked up by Doom and then brought to a different part of the universe, and I think that's just really what it's trying to show. It's trying to show, oh, look, he might be in Doomsday. He might be in Secret Wars after. Like, I really do think it's just that. And either way, if that's the case, I still don't like it. I wanted to see like an end credit scene with Jean and something. Like,
yeah,
maybe Jean shows up and you see her
arc?
at like a gate of something. Like, I don't know. Something where I was like...
Or like you see like someone drive next to her in a way that you're like, oh, okay, like kind of give us the next idea of where her story is going.
Yeah,
I do agree to that. Or even if you want to do something silly, goofy, give us something fun with Punisher doing, or like let us see Hulk locked up.
Maybe show just like a character, not just like the app. Like I was like just like,
yeah,
right, we waited
again, but this is what I don't like when the MCU does another character is going to be coming or they will return. I think it was fun the first time they did this character will return. Now I'm just like, I know the character is going to return. You don't have to remind me.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. But with that is our Spider-Man Brand New Day review. Let us know what you thought, are your likes, dislikes, if you agree or disagree with what we said. Anything else?
No, pretty much. Let us know what you guys thought. Let us know that if there's something we missed, give us Easter eggs that were in the stories that we didn't really see ourselves.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm Michael.
And I'm Brian.
Catch you later.